Hi, everyone. My name is Cami. I am from the School of Engineering at USC. I'm pleased to welcome you here today to talk a little bit and learn more about the Communication Data Science program at USC. And with us today to share the details of this program is Dr. Jessica Neff, who is the co-director of the Master Communication Data Science program, and she is a professor in the School of Communication. So today we are going to just kind of talk briefly about the program and, of course, allow ample time for you to ask any questions that you may have. So what we'll do is I'm going to just talk really briefly about the School of Engineering and the university, and then we'll turn it over to Dr. Neff to talk a little bit about the program. And then after that, we'll leave some time for you to ask any questions that you may have. So one thing we do ask is just to kind of direct your attention to the short presentation that we'll give. And then using the Q&A window, we're happy to take your questions at the conclusion of the presentation. Okay, so just please stand by for 1 second while we just go through. So for those of you who are not familiar with USC, many of you hopefully are. USC is a leading private research institution here in Los Angeles. We have one of the most diverse student populations in the United States. We attract students from over 110 countries here at the university, and so it really lends to a very dynamic learning environment. As you can see with this Communication Data Science program, I think that's really one very good illustration of our focus on interdisciplinary education. The Dean of the School of Engineering is really an advocate of helping students to kind of not only get kind of a technical education, but really understand how engineering can cut across so many different disciplines. So this has been a really valuable partnership with the School of Communications here at USC to deliver this program for students that have kind of a social science background or communication background and want to kind of also develop a little bit more of the technical side as well. Okay, so we're located in downtown Los Angeles. I'm not sure how many of you have had a chance to visit or live in Los Angeles, but especially with our location here, it provides a lot of great opportunities for career development, for internships, and of course for many other professional and cultural activities as well. Okay, so I'll go ahead and what I'm going to do now, if you just please stand by with me, I'm going to turn over the presenter privileges over to Dr. Neff, and let me see if I can do that really quickly.
And can you guys hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, great. Oh, I'm able to do it. Okay, great.
Great.
Okay. All right. Well, hello, everyone. I'm so happy to be here with you today. As Cami mentioned, my name is Jessica Neff, and I am the program co-director for this interdisciplinary communication data science degree. I say co-director because this is a degree that, as you know, is housed in 2 schools. So we are a joint degree that is offered by the Viterbi School of Engineering and the Annenberg School for Communication. And so before I talk about kind of the specifics of the degree, I'd like to provide an overview of the data science landscape and kind of show you how our program fit into that more broadly. So this visual shows on the far left, you've got computer science. So that's kind of the really kind of core, more theoretical side of things. You've got data science, which is kind of applied computing. And then on the far right, you've got domain expertise, so in this case, communication or marketing. An interdisciplinary data science program is the intersection of data science and then a specific area of study. So in this case, this is a program that really is focused on applying computing skills to the area of communication or marketing or a related discipline. And so it's again, a boundary spanning program that sits at the intersection of 2 different fields. And so there are a number of these interdisciplinary data science programs at USC, and I think it's something that we're doing at the university that's really innovative. So the Annenberg Communication Data Science is just one of a number of different interdisciplinary data science degrees that are at the university. And so this is really kind of a cutting edge approach that we're taking in terms of bringing data science to all these different fields. And so we'll be talking more specifically about the communication program today. So as I mentioned, this is a joint degree program between the Viterbi School of Engineering and the Annenberg School of Communication. And so students in this program split their time evenly across the two schools. So half of your classes are taken in Viterbi, you're taking those core data science classes, and then you're spending half your time at the Annenberg School taking classes that are specializing in the communication side of things. So this degree, we're still relatively new. We were launched in fall of 2016, and we were the first program of our kind at the time. And honestly, subsequently, there's been no master's level programs that are doing the same sort of thing that we are. So we're still really kind of pioneering, cutting edge program. And I think that really sets us apart and is unique. We are a STEM OPT qualified program, and so I know that's attractive for a lot of international students. So that's just a little bit about the program as a whole. So in terms of our curriculum, so the goal of this program is really to train students in core concepts of data science and data-oriented methodologies in communication. And so we primarily have two profiles of students who apply to this program. So I would say the bulk of our students are students who come from a background in communication or PR or journalism or related fields and don't necessarily have a strong background in CS or data science, if any at all. And so this program really is designed for students who are interested in getting those fundamentals but don't have them. But we also have students who come in from the other route, who maybe had an engineering undergrad degree, but they really want to get into communication or a related field. And so students come in via that pipeline as well. And so we have a customized curriculum that can accommodate those two different types of student profiles. And you'll come out of this degree with a really unique skill set upon graduation. So I'll talk a little bit more about what exactly our curriculum looks like. So this is a 32-unit degree. We have a core, and then you also have some electives that you can take. So on the Viterbi side, you take 4 classes. 3 of those are required. You start out with an introduction to computational thinking and data science. That's taken by all students in their first semester. And then you have a principles of programming for informatics and overview of data informatics in large data environments. So those are the other 2 core classes. And then you have 1 elective. On the Annenberg side, you take another introductory course in your first term, which I teach. It's called Theoretical Approaches to Multidisciplinary Design Projects. And that's an introductory theory class with an aim to introduce you to a wide range of communication theories that can be applied to real-world design challenges. And then there's another class that you take called Innovation and the Information Economy. So there's a number of different electives available to you in both schools. So there's really something for everyone, depending upon what it is that you're specifically interested in. So some of our students, when they're taking their engineering electives, decide they want to go deeper into design, or maybe they want to go deeper into, honing their coding skills, or maybe they want to explore privacy and security. And so those are all things that you can look into with your electives on the engineering side. And then at Annenberg, we've got a little bit of something for everyone. So we have classes on, marketing, persuasion, new and emerging technologies, the gaming industry. And we actually have a new class that I'm really excited about. It's called Data Science for Communication Social Networks. That is, a class that was actually specifically designed for this program, and it kind of sits at the intersection of these 2 fields. So as you can see, there's a lot of different classes that you can choose from. And then on the Annenberg side, there are other electives available that can be approved on a case-by-case basis. So a little bit about our curriculum. So I'll talk about the 2 core classes in a little bit further detail before I share some more details about kind of application, and criteria and things like that, which I know you're all very interested in. So as I mentioned, every student takes 2 core classes when they come in, so that you'll be with me in your first term if you choose to join us. COM 502 is Theoretical Approaches to Multidisciplinary Design Projects. And as I said, it introduces you to a broad range of theories in communication and the social sciences. And the goal of the class is to prepare you to bridge disciplines or to produce interdisciplinary projects. The students are creating business plans. Some of my students are doing research projects and preparing things for publication. There's a lot of different, it's a class that offers a lot of autonomy and allows you to apply your skills to something that's an area of personal interest. And so we look at theories across 3 different levels of analysis: the individual, the group, and then networks and collectives. And the content of this class really marries up nicely with some of the things that you're covering in your other core class, which in your first semester, which is DSCI 549, Introduction to Computational Thinking and Data Science. And so I want to emphasize that this data class is designed for students who have no programming background, but who want to have literacy in data and computing to work effectively in data science projects. So if you are someone who is scared about the data science side of things and are concerned that maybe you're not prepared for it, this is the class that is prepared to let you go on into those more advanced computing classes and be successful. For students who do have more of a background in computer science, this is a class that you can sometimes skip out of. It's a conversation with my co-director or counterpart in Viterbi. And if you have sufficient technical background, this is a class that you might not end up taking. But it really does provide you with that foundation or the scaffolding that you need to take the more advanced programming classes. All right, so a little bit about our application criteria. So in the current world, taking the GRE can be a little bit challenging. As we all know, it's been kind of a wild ride this year in 2020. So USC is not requiring the GRE for applications in 2021. So that's kind of a big change to note. We are requiring TOEFL, as always, for international students who didn't attend a U.S. undergrad. And so I'll be looking for a writing score on a TOEFL of at least 26 or an IELTS writing of at least 6.5. Another application criteria is having taken at least 2 college-level math classes and earning a grade of B or equivalent or better. And also note that with applications this year, because you don't have the GRE, it's going to be particularly important to showcase your interest in your personal statement and to highlight, your accomplishments and achievements in your CV or your resume that you're submitting. And the letter of recommendation will all be really important. So there's all those other pieces of the application that we'll be looking at. We always look at, but we'll be, very heavily weighted this year with the GRE as not something that we're going to be considering. You'll see that our application deadline for this fall is December 15th for scholarship consideration, and then we have a final deadline of January 15th for all applications. So again, December 15th for scholarships consideration and January 15th for all other applications. So, another question I always get is, what can I do with this degree? It's kind of a new degree. It's not, something where you go, if I'm in that program, I'm definitely going to go out and end up in this job. But I can tell you that we position students to be in a wide range of different jobs, jobs that sit at the intersection of 2 fields. I can tell you that most recently I've had a lot of students going into product management positions, so where you're kind of managing an interdisciplinary technical team and helping, design and spec out products for tech organizations. You could be in a design role. Also have a lot of students working as analysts in marketing agencies, media agencies, and different companies like that. I've had a few students actually move over to work in the journalism side of the house. Most recently, I had a student go into kind of data-driven political consulting. There are a lot of different opportunities for you, depending upon your area of interest. So it can prepare you for a wide range of different types of careers. And so here I'll highlight just some of our recent job placements and internship placements. So as you can see, our students have ended up in a lot of different interesting places. We've had students at Facebook, at Apple, at Tumblr. One of my recent grads just got a job as a data scientist at Coursera, a lot of different media agencies up here, and some tech companies as well. So, we've been really pleased with our job placements, and students are ending up in some really exciting roles. And so with that, that's my conclusion slide. That provides you with kind of a high-level overview of the program. I'm happy to answer any questions that you all might have about the program, the curriculum, and applications, things like that.
Thank you so much, Professor Neff. If any of you have any questions, I encourage you to use the Q&A window, and then we can go ahead and we can both look at those and then see if any questions. So we'll go ahead and open it up now if any of you want to take questions into the Q&A.
Maybe you're thinking for a moment. And I guess while we're waiting, I can talk a little bit more about some of our students. Maybe I'll give you guys a chance to think for a moment. So a question I often get from applicants is how much work experience do I need, or is it expected that I've worked in a company before coming into this program? The answer is no, not necessarily. A lot of our students actually do come straight out of undergraduate programs, but we also have students who've been in the workforce for a number of years. So we have probably more students who are coming to us straight out of undergrad, but we also have students who, have, been working for a number of years and are deciding to change careers and want to do something different. So we have a diverse student population as well. It looks like we've got one question. Is the deadline on a rolling basis? So you're asking if we're doing rolling admissions? You think that's the question?
Yeah, I do think that that's the question. So the deadline is December the 15th if you want to be considered scholarships. January 15th is the final deadline, so everything has to be in by that time. And then generally speaking, we wait for all of the applications to come in before we make decisions. So if you get your application in really early, that doesn't necessarily mean that you will get a decision earlier. We usually wait to have all of the applicants come in after the deadline first before we begin evaluation.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Thanks, Carrie.
Sure.
And so I guess while we're waiting to see if there's any more questions, I'll just say one more thing about, if you're looking at different types of programs, and I'm sure you are, it's a big graduate school, and so you're probably looking at a wide range of different sorts of programs, and so I can maybe tell you a little bit how we compare to others. So this is not a program that's preparing you necessarily to be a data scientist. So if your end goal is to be a data scientist, I would say you should be in an applied data science program. So we do have students who go into those types of roles, because you're splitting your curriculum, you're not getting as many of those core data science classes. So this is really for students who want to be in kind of an interdisciplinary or boundary spanning role in an organization, or be in a communication role that really requires a greater comfort with or ability to manage data and numbers, or work with a team that does that and be able to guide them. And so, I know sometimes our students are also looking at, like the digital social media program at Annenberg, or they're looking at digital journalism programs or things like that. So, I'd say that we kind of sit in the middle of those types of programs, but we're not, not an applied data science program, not a purely domain expertise program. We provide elements of both. Yeah, happy to take any more questions if anyone has them.
We'll leave the Q&A window open a couple of minutes if anyone has any questions. If not, then we can also put, what I'll do right now is put my contact information into the chat window. And you can always.
Oh, and I'll share mine too, because I realized I didn't put my email on the slide, so I'll put it in there because I know that sometimes questions come to you after these sessions. That's fine. Okay, I have another question from Ling. My first year was in China. I think the answer is no, Kenny, but you would be no for certain. I think that if you matriculated from a U.S. institution, then I believe you will not need to submit the language requirements course.
Yeah, so this one, depending how, yeah, it says here, I can see 30 credits, but I think we'd have to actually look at your transcript. Generally speaking, the university is really strict about the language requirement. So we've had students that did, a year in at an institution outside of the U.S. and they would still have to take the English language exam. So we may have to kind of take a look at your transcript and see and let you know for sure. But generally speaking, yeah, the university, we can't control that. They will often make you take the TOEFL, even if you had most of your degree program here in the U.S., even if you had like a year outside of the U.S., then they sometimes will make you take it. But if you want to send us, you can send me your transcript, then I can just double check for you.
I just added my email address to the chat, so you guys can see that. You can feel free to send me follow-up questions. Okay, we've got another question. So internship, should we participate in undergraduate time to boost our competitiveness and average GPA and TOEFL score? Okay, a few different questions there. So, we're not looking for a specific profile of internship, I would say, because we do accept students and actually encourage and welcome students from a wide range of different backgrounds. So it's more just seeing that you have some relevant internship experience in an area that relates to what you're hoping to study is definitely something that can be beneficial in your overall application. And we certainly are looking, as you're asking about, participating in things. It's always great to see involvement in extracurriculars above and beyond just making good grades, but showing that you're involved in student organizations or that you're doing volunteer work or participating in competitions or whatever, variety of things that you get involved in. We love to see all of that. It gives us kind of a picture of you as kind of a well-rounded person. And so those are all things that, factor into your application. I don't know the average GPA offhand. I want to say that our average TOEFL was 105 or 107 last year. But again, that's not a strict cutoff. But that is right around where we were. So it is it's on TOEFL score, but it's a whole package. And so, I don't like to say don't apply if you have a, 100 TOEFL or something like that. I encourage people to apply, no matter what their score. And yes, so Scott's asking for consideration, the application is approved by those schools. So yes, when you apply, the application goes through the Viterbi, admissions process, but then your application is reviewed by myself and by my counterpart, Dr. Gill, at Viterbi. So we both sign off on all admission decisions. And, one other thing I'll just talk about that I think a final thing I'll add as we're waiting to see if there's any more questions is I really didn't talk about kind of some of the resources that are available to you as a student at USC in interdisciplinary program. Because you're in the School of Engineering and the School for Communication, you are able to access resources from both schools, which I think is pretty incredible because we've got, vast career centers and tons of industry contacts between the two schools. And so you're really well positioned to come out of this degree and enter the job market. And so while we don't guarantee a job placement, there's a lot of support for the job search process. And so that, I think, is something, that's really unique about this degree. Because it is an interdisciplinary degree in both schools, you have access to both sets of faculty. And you can get involved in faculty research projects, spanning both schools. And there are a lot of opportunities for student involvement. There are always interesting, guest speakers and events going on at the schools, even right now when we're totally virtual. My inbox is constantly flooded with interesting talks and lectures that, mixer events or career events that are happening. So even in the current moment when we're not able to be physically present on campus, there's still so much going on. USC is just really such a rich environment to be in as a student. So that is one thing I can tell you. Having done my own graduate work at USC a number of years ago, I can speak from firsthand experience that it's a really great place to be in school.
That's a great point. I think that's one of the things that I think that the students appreciate the most is being able to kind of get the resources from both Annenberg and from the Viterbi School, because there are so many programs and support services that both schools offer. There is a question here, and then Professor Neff, if you want me to answer this one, there is a lot of concern often these days with the U.S. and China relationship. So those policies are very much kind of residing with the U.S. government and with the current administration that we have. So we're just in a really volatile time right now because we have an election coming up in just a couple of weeks. So that is something we can't really speculate on. That's something, I don't think that students in this program are affected. Lots of times this policy tends to focus on scholars that are involved in any kind of sensitive research. And so we're kind of hoping that things will alleviate, but yeah, that's something that we just have to just kind of wait and see, unfortunately. So
yeah, it's a good question, and hopefully we'll have more clarity, in the coming weeks and months as things develop here in the U.S.
Yes. Okay, so maybe what we can do is we'll take any questions in the next couple of minutes, and then otherwise, if you don't have any further questions, feel free to enjoy the rest of your day or evening. Both Professor Neff and I have put our contact information in the chat window. So if you want to contact us separately, we'd both be happy to answer any questions that you may have. So maybe we'll just give everyone one last chance to ask any questions just in the next minute or so, and then we'll go ahead and close the session if there are no more. Okay, so it looks like there are no more questions for this session. So, Professor Neff, did you have any last closing words before we close the session?
I don't think I have anything to add, but I just thank you all for joining us this evening or this morning, whatever time it may be, wherever you are. We look forward to seeing your applications in our pipeline for this fall, and please don't hesitate at all to reach out to me with any questions. I frequently hop on Zoom or a phone call or correspond by email with prospective applicants, and I'd be happy to do that with you. So hope to hear from you soon.
Thank you so much. And thanks to all of you for joining and for your interest in USC. So have a great day or evening, and please contact us if you have further questions. Take care.
Thanks, everyone.